Hi there. So, before I begin, I just want to apologize for not making many videos recently, any to be more precise, but as Max Holloway would say, it is what it is.
It is what it is, you know. It is what it is, you know. It is what it is. It is what it is, you know.
So, I really wanted to make this video. It might seem a bit of a stretch from the title at least, but nonetheless, I'm extremely passionate about the subjects that I'm going to discuss. And if you do enjoy this video, then who knows, maybe I'll make a more in-depth video. And yeah, if the YouTube algorithm gods approve it, then you might see more videos, more, in-depth video essay about this topic, which I do find fascinating. So what we're gonna talk about today. Now, a little bit of a backstory. So recently, I've been really obsessed with the game of chess. I've been rehabbing after my knee injury, so I can't do any physical sports. But The Queen's Gambit came out. I watched it, just as the rest of the world. I really enjoyed it, and I got back my love for the game of chess. And I used to play a ton of it as a kid. Then I kind of took a break. Didn't find it that fascinating anymore. Don't know, just started motivating myself with more physical activities, physical sports like mixed martial arts, but not necessarily these mentally, cognitively, challenging games. So this is how I got remotivated to play chess, to analyze chess, to learn about the legends of the game, Bobby Fischer included. And, I just couldn't help myself but see the parallel between the game of chess and MMA. I know it sounds far-fetched, but, maybe you'll see the parallel as well. So this is how I decided to make this video. I started learning about Bobby Fischer, and I couldn't help but notice the similarities between him and many athletes in the sport of mixed martial arts, such as Khamzat Chimaev. That's actually the first guy that jumped to my mind after I learned about the bio and unique circumstances of Bobby Fischer. So today we're gonna talk about two GOATs, aka greatest of all time. One mixed martial artist and one chess artist. And so yeah, you're definitely gonna find if you're not familiar with one of them, or maybe you're not familiar with either one, you're gonna find them fascinating, in my opinion. Their life stories are definitely different, but they do have some similarities. And if you are familiar with both of them, then kudos to you, and you might already see some parallel. So but don't worry, I'm gonna give you a short introduction of both of them, and so let's just jump into it. Let's start with Bobby Fischer. You might heard the name, you might know the name, but don't really know who he was. And basically, he was known as being the youngest chess grandmaster. He was known as being the child chess prodigy. And also he was known for being crazy, and at the end of his career, just a conspiracy theorist, to say the least. He wasn't the most how would I say this, politically correct person. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, so he was the youngest grandmaster, and grandmaster, I would say it's the BMF title in UFC. Maybe that's not the best analogy, but basically, just the top of the food chain. And by being the youngest one, he got really famous, and also his personality didn't really align with his popularity. He always had this paranoid personality. And that was kind of in his genes, to be fair, because his dad was also not the most calm person. Even though he didn't know his dad, he wasn't around. But I'm pretty sure what I read is that he used to carry soap in his pocket and he also had this OCD thing or whatever.
It's not just the arrogance of you're saying that you're the best in the world, but the lights are too tough, or the temperature is too high, or arrangements aren't right. It's difficulty of dealing with you that people complain about.
Basically, he was an awesome chess player. He had the creative capacity similar to the one of an artist, and at the same time, he also, he played with machine-like accuracy. So those two things combined made him the greatest chess player of all time, still considered by many to be one, even though he has passed away in 2004, I believe, at the age of 64. So, the thing about him that made me particularly interested in him is that he was considered arrogant until he wasn't. He was considered by many overrated until he wasn't. Does that remind you of anyone? To be fair, many athletes are the same way. They have this almost paranoid personality that some people consider delusional because, you're in the sport like mixed martial arts. You gotta be delusional to some extent to think that you can be the best to beat the best and to be the champ, the best in the world. So, you can already see the similarities. And, let's see what the man himself has to say about his so-called quote-unquote arrogance.
Where do you get your confidence?
Well, when you're successful, you realize there must be something going on. I mean, why am I so successful? There must be a reason, right? So obviously there's something, some natural ability, some, factors working, right?
Right. Sometimes what we're talking about is described as Fischer's arrogance. I sense that it's something quite different. You simply...
Yeah, this arrogance, like, people have been calling me arrogant for many years, but lately they're not calling me arrogant. Why? Because now, I've been winning all these matches and I'm doing what I've always said I was, So I used to say I was the best player in the world. Everybody's arrogant, terrible, conceited person,
Right.
But this is just an obvious fact.
So that's Bobby Fischer. I'm not going to show you a recently discovered video where he talks about gender equality in the sport and what he thinks about female chess players, because that's not the most pleasant video, to say the least.
Would you call yourself a misogynist?
Excuse me, what's the definition of that word?
But what about Khamzat Chimaev? I don't know, if you're a fan of the sport of mixed martial arts, you're probably familiar with him, and I'm guessing you weren't familiar with him a year ago, because he's the breakout star of 2020 in many people's eyes, and he's welterweight / middleweight. He fights in both divisions. He has a 9-0 record. Just a fascinating guy. You can watch his highlights on YouTube, and just a ton of awesome submissions, TKO wins, and I actually made a video about him on my channel after his second win, I believe, where I just talked about his brilliancy. And so obviously you can see the even though he's nothing but a child prodigy thing, because he is quite young and he's already proven himself worthy in one of the toughest divisions in mixed martial arts. And, his confidence is through the roof. Just watch this post-fight interview of his.
I'm ready for everybody. Like I said to Dana, if you give me Damian Maia, I'm ready for him. If they give me Brock Lesnar, I'm ready for him also.
Nice. And last thing for me, you just got to the UFC a couple months ago, but I feel like people are going to start talking about you for a title shot. Do you feel like you deserve to be in that discussion already for a title shot?
Of course, why not? I did hard work for that. I'm ready.
You prefer one division over the other, or just whichever?
Both divisions.
So that's Khamzat Chimaev, or Chimaev. I've heard his last name pronounced in a couple of ways. But yeah, you could consider him arrogant, just like Bobby Fischer, because he hasn't proven himself to be the very best, at least not yet. His finishes were in the first, second round, super dominant, and it's hard to say that he got lucky every single one of those times, but, there is a chance that he got lucky some of those times. And, so, and in my eyes, I see there's a real good chance of him becoming the champ, at least in the welterweight division in the next year, in 2021. I'm not sure when this video comes out. Maybe it's already going to be 2021. Unless, the current US president, the future US president, decides to ban all the sports. And if that doesn't happen, I do see there's a real good chance of him becoming the champ in either the middleweight or welterweight division. Probably welterweight. Now, if we take a look at the sports themselves, chess and MMA, at first glance, they're completely different. One is extremely physical, one is extremely cognitive, but in fact, there are actually quite a few, things that make them similar. Mixed martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in particular have been referred to as physical chess. Even though that does sound a bit cringy, but, they do have a good point. And if you want to know more about how these two relate, you can just listen to Josh Watkin on the Tim Ferriss podcast. And, because he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but he was also considered the child chess prodigy. He actually has a movie made about him called Searching for Bobby Fischer. So Chimaev, when we compare him to Fischer, he's just as arrogant, he's just as skillful, he's just as confident. He has this mysterious feel to him, just like Bobby Fischer did, and basically just seems unstoppable, just like Bobby Fischer. Perhaps not as handsome, but Bobby Fischer's good looks really didn't last that long, unfortunately. Fun fact, also chess and MMA have really similar peak and retirement ages. In chess you peak at around age 30, and if you have all the things nutritionally sorted and you take care of yourself, don't overtrain, then you have like a really steep decline at the age of 40. And in chess, you don't have such a steep decline. You kind of start to decline more slowly, which sounds probably even more scarier because, you don't really know when you start to decline. You may not even see your results go down that much, but you do know that at some point you do start to decline. And just another cool parallel between these sports. Now, the final point that I want to make is that, as many of you know, Bobby Fischer went insane at the end of his career. And it's unclear whether chess made him insane, because there was a decline in his chess skills, whether they declined because he went insane, whether he went insane because they declined, I don't know, just some food for thought. But nonetheless, he went mad. And my question to you, do you think the same thing can happen to any other champion in MMA, and Khamzat Chimaev in particular? I keep calling him Chimaev and Chimaev in the same video, but nevertheless, do you think that's something that can happen to this Swedish fighter? I think it's less likely to happen. The same thing can be said to someone like Conor McGregor. Although he has been humbled quite a bit by Khabib Nurmagomedov, so maybe there's not such a great risk for that happening. But what do you think is the future for Khamzat? Will he become the GOAT in MMA, the Bobby Fischer of MMA, as the title suggests? Will he descend into madness the way Bobby did? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you do enjoy this topic and be interested in more detailed analysis of the psychology of a champ, whether that be in chess and MMA, I'd be more than glad to make it. Do a big amount of research and, just really delve into these things. But that's it for today, and I'll see you in the comment section. Peace.